So we're back working on our trim project this morning, and I'm on the back porch now. You guys haven't seen much of this, if at all. This is under construction currently, but we've got a roof over it, and it's a great spot now for me to cut rather than the front porch, which we're trying to keep nice. So sawdust and piles of chips and everything on the front porch are a thing of the past, and so now we've got this area, thankfully, to work under. Getting ready to cut some crown molding, the small crown, for the section above the range. And let's see, I've got to do one custom cope, I believe. And that's where the small crown meets the big crown. And then the rest of it is just, standard corners. So hopefully this section is going to go a little faster than yesterday. I had to do 4 of those custom copes, and that was a bit tedious, a bit time consuming. Plus we had some other work to do to get ready even to put those sections up. But I think we're ready to just roll with it today. So I'm going to go ahead and get cracking here and get some of this wood cut and get it up, and hopefully we can move on to another project later on today. Amber's in the fetal position. Amber's in the fetal position here. What's wrong, babe?
I just hate these feet on this thermidor. You did yours just fine.
Yeah? What's your problem?
And it's just not fitting right. And then it's like, there's not as much space over here because of our flooring.
You sure it's the floor?
No. It could be me.
Sounds like an installer. Oh, sorry, man. I can't get your stove level. It's your floor. Need some help?
I give up. Yes, totally.
Awesome. Great job, Ben.
I've only given up on this project like 5 times.
I know, but it's time we finally do it, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm okay with that kind of layout, aren't you?
No.
We've been living with that for about a year. That's okay.
It kind of looks scrappy. All right, let me see if I can help you. So this is what it looks like after scribing, and a lot of people like to use either a jigsaw with a coping foot, or they'll use an actual coping saw, but I've really gotten to love using a grinder with a flap disc. All of this was done with the grinder with the flap disc. Once you get the hang of it, you can really be accurate and even do some really detailed, intricate copes. And this is what the backside looks like when you've used a grinder. Flap disc is getting a little worn, so it's scorched a little bit, but hey, it does the job. But yeah, so it just copes in there beautifully. So we're gonna go ahead and get our front piece cut next, and that way we can get that corner and everything nice and tight. And then we'll just work our way around to the hood. Can't wait to do that, huh, babe? Should be a fun one.
We hope it fits.
Let's hope. I'm out here at the miter saw setting up to make the cut on the outside corner for that little piece that I just showed you. So this is our coped end. And then I held the piece up there, and I held it up exactly where our little test pieces say it should ride. And then I made a mark with my pencil on the back side to show me where the corner is. Then I just transfer that mark to the outside of the piece so I can see it when it's laying flat on the saw table. With this miter saw, it's got instructions here that show you the angles for all your cuts, inside and outside, left and right pieces. And so it works great because you can cut it flat. You don't have to worry about, old school, you kind of could turn it upside down and hold it against your fence like that. Turn it upside down and hold it against your fence. But the problem is every time you held it, your angle was just a little bit different. Even just a millimeter in one direction or another could throw off your miters. So the nice thing about this setup is you can use it on the flat, and so you put the piece that goes toward the ceiling against the fence, and then you've got your angles all worked out. So transferred the mark to the front, and one thing I do too is just so I don't get confused when I get out to the table, especially if I'm doing several pieces at once, is I'll go ahead and mark the direction of the cut and put an X on the scrap. That way, when I get out here at the saw table, I know that I'm doing an outside corner, and that's the direction it needs to go. And so once I set the saw up, I look at it and say, oh yeah, okay, so that's right. Especially on these custom coped pieces, because I don't want to have to redo that again. It's a pain getting it all set up and everything. So anyways, just a little fail safe there to help you keep from making mistakes. So this is going to be an outside left corner. So we look at our little setup sheet here. Outside left is 31/6 to the left. That's your miter. Go over here past 0. And this saw again has detent set up. So it locks you in at 31.6. Go back to your chart. Outside left, 33.9 to the right. See if I can do this one-handed without sticking my arm in the saw. So you pull the lock loose here. Pull the lock loose. And then you rotate the arm. It's harder than it looks trying to do it with one hand. And the next detent is 31.6. So this is a great saw. It's all set up for cutting crown, and everything's kind of pre-marked, and it's got the little detents in there, which keeps you from screwing things up. Now, what I'll typically do is err on the side of making it too long, and then work my way back in. I would always rather, again, if I'm gonna cut off the mark just a little bit, I would rather do it on the side of being too long. So I'll bring my saw out here, and that way I can kind of see where the teeth are going to hit when it contacts the wood. So I kind of bring it down until I can see where, because I always go off the tooth, because that's the widest part of the blade. So there you can see, you zoom in just a little bit. There you can see we're just a little bit long there. And again, I'd rather go a little long and then have to work my way back into the mark versus cutting it too short and be like, dang, now I gotta start over. So let me go ahead and make this cut, and then we'll take it in there and see how it fits.
That looks incredible.
Thanks. So I said I finished the last custom cope there a few minutes ago when I did the one on the other side of this cabinet, and then I looked over here and I was like, wait, nope, got one more to do. So just finished that one up. Let me show you how it's gonna fit. So that worked out pretty nice. Once I get it pushed up in there, nailed in place, that'll be nice and tight. So now, got my 45 on this one. It's not really a 45, 31.6, whatever it is. And now I got to do one more piece from the wall, and we're ready to put this corner together. Then we get to tackle the hood. All right, so we got it nailed in place and got our quick setting tight bond wood glue in the corner there with some clamps on the edge there, holding it nice and tight until that sets up. And I leave those on for a few hours, if not overnight, if I don't need the extra clamps there. So I'm just gonna leave these on all oh, probably the rest of the day. I'll probably steal some of those to do the next piece that goes around the hood. Or I may use CA glue so I don't have to wait on them. But we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and get some pieces fit to the hood and see how that looks.
All right, so Chris just finished the crown on this right cabinet, and he's taking measurements to put up the crown on the hood. What do you think, honey?
Look forward to getting it done.
Me too. So this actually shouldn't be too bad. Dang! Let's rewind.
Why don't you say something?
I didn't say that.
So we had a couple of test pieces that we held up and used those to figure out where the crown was going to hit.
Right.
Held it up there.
So we held it up.
And
There you go.
we made,
Yeah.
made some pencil marks.
That's where you took your measurements.
And so I took my measurements across that, and it tells
Yeah.
me the widest point.
Oh, careful.
And got those jotted down here. So we're gonna make our box and then put it together on the ground.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do that, huh?
Slide it up there in one piece. Should go together easier up there or on the ground than it would up there, just because of the slanted sides and everything.
Ah, okay. So you're changing it up.
Yep.
All right. Well, I just can't wait to cover up that hole that we had to cut to get that up in there.
Me too.
You love this hood, don't you?
That was quite an adventure.
But it's gorgeous.
Not great.
So yeah, this hood was supposed to be for an 8 to 9 foot ceiling kitchen. Really, it's what, more on the 9 foot side, isn't it?
Yeah, probably closer. We made it work.
We did. We got her done. All right, so this fits so well on our dry run that Chris decided to just go ahead and nail it and glue it in place. You kind of act like you know what you're doing.
Well, I hope so by this point in the project.
We're at the end.
Not. Something horribly wrong.
I know. We've got one more day of crown, don't we? That might be it.
Get the office.
Yes.
Solarium.
Office. Chris and I debate what that room is called.
I like solarium because it's full of those huge glass doors that look over on the pool.
I don't like solarium because it sounds snooty. Which is really shocking because normally I am like the snooty stuff. And you don't.
Snootier than the two of us.
Do you need my help?
Yeah, I think I got it.
All right. That was a good fit. I just can't believe how this came together so quickly. These clamps really do help, don't they?
They do.
Really a neat contraption.
Thank you, Collins Tool Company. And your dryer, The
What?
handles are padded so you can bite on them.
I'm sure that was their intent.
It's good when you only have one hand. Ooh, it's good.
Do you need a paper towel?
Yep, got one. Just need
All right.
to keep it from dripping for a second here. Sometimes you don't have enough hands, you gotta use your teeth.
I know.
Part of it. I held a flashlight in my teeth for years before they invented headlamps.
If only you could have invented that.
Yep.
It's a great idea.
All right. I
Wow.
love gluing all these joints because you know it's gonna last forever.
Yeah. I am just glad we don't see the hole.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird without the hole there.
I know. So Chris and I decided to go with the bigger crown on this. We used the smaller above the cabinets. I had to go with 39-inch cabinets, so that only meant we could fit in about 3 inches of crown. But I wanted bigger crown everywhere else. So it's just made more work for Chris, but it looks spectacular. Good job.
I'm not hitting anything.
No, you're not. Did that get it?
Yep.
All right, good.
Can't tell with this wood, or this hood is wood, but
Yeah.
it's a fairly thin, wood.
Yeah. Has like a wood skeleton underneath it, but it's not.
So if you don't hit in one of those skeleton pieces, you're gonna
Yeah.
try to be floating on this thinner plywood, and that ain't gonna work.
That's okay. We'll just caulk the holes and add one more layer of paint. So with all the trim, we got it unfinished. And I painstakingly sanded it all and primed it, sanded it again, and gave it a first coat of oil base.
Yeah, you were a trooper.
Ugh, it took months.
Trooper.
And then now, once we've gotten everything up, we're gonna caulk and fill the nail holes and then do one more layer of paint. It'll be beautiful.
Yes, it will.
Wow. Step back here. Take a look at all of your creation. Wow.
It's all your idea.
All the kitchen. Wow, 2 days of work. But it looks amazing.
Well, it's detailed, and you gotta do it right.
I know. If you don't do it right, it's not worth doing.
Especially when it comes to trim.
Yeah, that looks phenomenal. Good job, honey.
Thanks, son. All right. Well, that wraps up things here in the kitchen.
Yay!
How excited are you?
Very. Look at all that.
Looks
Yeah,
so wild to see all that trim. Turned out really great though, didn't it?
I did.
I'm glad to be done with crown in here. We've got, like you said, one more day of crown probably in the
office.
solarium and the family room. That shouldn't be too bad.
We'll
Maybe.
see.
Yeah. We got to put up some dental first.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and get that dental. Amber's already got it sanded, primed, painted. So we'll go ahead and get that dental installed. And then once we've got that up, then we'll be able to do our crown on top of that. That's going to wrap that space up. And then, I don't know, what else do we have in here? A little bit of chair rail, I think.
There's a little bit of, there's a piece of crown in here. That
Little
we need
crown
to
in
do.
the butler's
Yeah, the
pantry.
And then in the dining room built in, the wraparound.
Oh yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
a couple of pieces there in the dining room that we've got to take
that's
care
it.
of. Come around to like chair rail in the dining room.
You have to do the crown on the cupola too.
Crown on the cupola, yeah, that cupola that used to be on the garage is now going on the pool house. Amber's been working on that.
You finishing?
Yep.
Yay.
So we'll work on that crown and reveal that. That's gonna be really exciting to see that thing go up on there. It's gonna look super cute on top of the new and improved pool house.
Yay.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. As always, we appreciate your comments or questions down below. Be here.
Nice one.
So that's going to do it for this episode of Woodmere State Revival. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to hit that subscription button and also the little notification bell. That way you'll get a little notification every time we publish new content. Tons of new episodes to come. If you guys got any comments or questions, please be sure to leave those down below. We always try to answer any comments. If you guys have questions or anything, need links to tools or anything else, holler back at us. We'll be glad to put those back out there. And we'll see you guys again real soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.